Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Garage Gym Experiment podcast. My name is Adam, here again with Jake. And on tonight's episode, we have a couple HomeGymCon updates. Vendors are starting to sign up, so it's getting pretty exciting. We have a few new basic products that have hit the market. We're going to talk about those. We'll get into the Sunday survey results, which hopefully you filled out on Instagram. And then we'll finish up with another product idea. So we're going to start it all off with the HomeGymCon updates. Jake, take it away. Welcome to the Garage Gym Experiment podcast, where we dive deep into the home gym scene. Each week, we put out Sunday surveys where you tell us your thoughts on products, builds, and all things home gym related. We're here to break down the numbers and to talk shop. So thanks for listening, and let's get started.
All right, let's start with that HomeGymCon update. So number one, based off some feedback, and I think it's a little early to really make this call, but I think we just decided to lower the expo prices. So we will still have two options. One is a more premium ticket option that will include early access Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but wanted to lower the price for the Saturday and Sunday expo hall events. So there was about a 25% price decrease for those, but we did add some other perks to the premium membership, the premium ticket option, I should say, and those prices did stay the same. So we listen to you guys, basically. It kind of reminded me of the podcast I did with Bulletproof Fitness. He, for example, he said he released the pre-orders and the immediate feedback was the price was just a little bit too high. Took us a few weeks to kind of make that decision, but ended up changing it to more of a traditional expo price, really hoping that as many people come out to support our vendors. Yeah, so that's the ultimate goal. We want to make sure the vendors get as many people. We want to make sure that the vendors are able to see as many people as possible. So that's that. And then speaking of vendors, it is Monday. We started reaching out to vendors on Friday and already have 8 signed up. So just for anybody listening, I want to really give these companies a huge, huge praise because, this is the first time we're doing this event and I don't have guaranteed ROI numbers. So this is really these companies putting faith in this event and just showing support for the community without lots of data to show this is how much money you're going to make. So huge props to them. Right now, we have Freedom Fitness Equipment, AbMat, Belt Fed Strength, Executive Fit LLC, which is a deadlift platform company, Surplus Strength, Team Swing Sesh, which is they have outdoor swing sets and that combines as a fitness tool, so you can put there's squat racks on there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Sweet.
I'm excited to see what they're going to bring.
They have a big space, yeah. So they're going to have something cool, I think. So yeah, they should definitely stand out with this. Next, we have GoRX Fitness, who we've had them on the podcast recently, and then lastly, Microgains. 8 filled up. We appreciate you guys so much. Let's move on to some new products. There wasn't anything too crazy new, but just a couple things that I saw recently that wanted to chat about. Number one, big props to Bells of Steel for bringing in actual pulley tower aluminum upgrade options. So, Adam, you've had the Titan one before, and it comes with what's plastic. The material? It's just
they're just plastic pulleys. Yeah, and I have to say, using that tower, I still have it. It's not going to stay much longer. Tons of friction, and people have said, hey, if you change these out to better pulleys, it's a lot smoother. I think it has 13 pulleys on it. So for me to do it using Amazon, it's going to almost double the cost of the entire piece of equipment. So it's not worth it to me. So for a company to have this as an option for their pulley tower is awesome.
Right. I think it's right around 130, 140, but it's definitely going to take the your pulley system to the next level and then ultimately make it last longer. A few years down the road, it's still going to likely be a lot smoother. I don't think anyone else is doing this, so just wanted to give Bells of Steel a shout out. I think it's something that people in the community have been saying for years, like, oh yeah, I upgraded. I went and bought 12 from Amazon and upgraded my plastic pulley system, and it's working a lot better now. So props to Bells of Steel for doing this. Next up, Titan released a seated stationary bench upgrade, or V2. At least it appears they didn't really market it at all. So I'm not exactly sure what the differences are, but I went out and grabbed it because I've wanted something like this for a while for my universal pulley system from Surplus Strength to stay within the rack, and it fits within the 30-inch depth pretty nicely, and I can tuck it away easily as well. But overall, I'd say it's really solid for the price, and definitely would rather have this than be lugging around 2 benches within my home gym space.
Yeah, Jake, how does that feel like in comparison to like a traditional like commercial lat tower? It looks awesome.
It's not quite the same. There's like, for example, I have to like wiggle in. There's not a ton of like breathing room. It does save a ton of space though, able to like move. Like I can lift from the front rack and then also do this at the same time if I'm relatively like if I really have it tucked in. But I mean, and there's a slight wobble. It's not like rock solid. Yeah. And I'm using safety spotter arms for this setup too. Yeah, so I'm using safety spotter arms that don't connect fully, so there's a little bit of wiggle. But it's a good setup. I wish it wasn't
lean back
plate loaded.
Into it, can you? So you're staying pretty vertical on your pull downs.
You can still like
get back.
There's a little bit of like cushion, like it's solid enough to where you can give it some space. You don't have to be completely touching your back. I like it. I mean, it's currently on sale for like $130.
Oh, nice.
And I don't see any other options out there like it. So I like it. And I think I didn't get the version 1 from Titan, but looks like they made some quick changes after some feedback. And this one's pretty solid. It's still just a budget friendly option, but
yeah,
it will do. All right, let's move on to those survey results. So to start off, about 55% think they will buy during the Black Friday season. This next survey question is a good one that kind of goes with like doing something like signing up for a conference where you don't really know what the ROI is going to be. But 60% say that they're more likely to buy something from a gym equipment company that actively participates in the community. So they're doing things like HomeGymCon, or they're in the comments answering questions from the community. They're sponsoring the garage gym competition. Maybe even 2-3 years ago when Joe was in the same boat and didn't really have any of the data that he has now, or he was going through the same thing, just like, please support us, it'll help, so yeah, that was an interesting one. Just, I think when it comes down to it, like, you're still going to choose the better option for you, but if it's between 2 different companies, one's within the community and one's not, then you're probably going to go with, you're like most definitely going to go with the one that's in the community. Next up, series of what's more important questions. I don't really know what to make of this data, but it's kind of interesting. So 52% would rather build their legs than their squat. 59% would rather build their bench than their pecs. And then 65% would rather build their squat than their bench. Adam, what do you think this means?
That last one really tricked me up because I don't know, that 52% saying they'd rather build their legs than have a bigger squat. You can call that a split. Like, I squat because of the aesthetics or because of the number attached to it. That 59% would rather have a heavier bench than like to actually like build out their chest. I think that's interesting. It's such an ego lift as it is.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I answered it that way. I was like, yeah, I'd rather have a bigger bench than like a fuller chest, I guess. And then that last one, it just made me feel like the majority of our audience being like power lifters and having like a big squat, I think comes along with that. Not how I answer the question at all. I'd rather have a bigger bench, but I'm gonna. That takes back to like the high school bro days. But
this one, and I think the rest actually came from the Garage Gym Radio Discord. So appreciate the questions there from those. 24% get seller's remorse after selling something home gym related. Adam, I know you've sold quite a bit of gym equipment. What's the biggest regret? And also, how did you answer this question?
I think I said no, but everything I've sold and like what I've replaced it with, I've been happy with. So yeah, I think sometimes I struggle with if I'm going to list something or not, but once it's gone, I've already purchased that new thing and I'm happy about it. But yeah, that one's tough because I do get a little, well, I haven't used this in a while. Maybe I'll just sell it. And then I'll get on it and use it. It's like, well, maybe I won't sell it. And so I have that like back and forth there. What about you? I know you were talking about getting a GHD again, and you had sold one of yours. What about you? How did you answer?
I went with in general, no. I don't really get too upset, and I'm pretty picky about what I do sell. I would say the biggest regret, which isn't really even a regret, was the GHD though. Like I remember I did like using the GHD. I missed it at first, but I really don't miss it too much anymore. I don't know. So
I text you all the time, or we talk before the podcast about like the next thing I'm bringing in. And I always think like after like I've sold some things, it's like, well, why didn't I buy this? And I just have like this constant like list of things that I want in my head, and it's never ending. And it's always tough. Like when you get the money to spend on home gym equipment, like what you're going to spend it on. I mean, it's like buying toys for me that I actually like use and put to use, but I don't know. That's what I struggle with more than selling, is like bringing in the new stuff.
Yeah. For me, it's just like, do I need it? No, but it's fun. So I find myself just like constantly moving things around, and then ultimately getting like, or I put them in the basement and then change it or something. But in general, I would say no, I don't have seller's remorse.
Were you a kid that like moved your room around a lot?
Yeah.
Like growing up, I moved mine around all the time, and it was like so cool after getting me set up. I feel like I'm the same way. Like in the gym, I'm like, oh man, what if I put the squat rack over here and then I put the dumbbells over there? Like there's that constantly like going through my head too.
I've wasted so much time moving stuff around.
You like, get it somewhere, it's like, oh, this actually doesn't work.
There's no point. Or just like you end up moving it again, and it provided no value. It's like maybe it looked a little bit better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, how long are your typical training sessions? Like doing push-ups.
with dumbbells. Push-ups with dumbbells. Neutral grip, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So the possible answers were between 45 minutes, the possible answers were less than 45 minutes, between 45 and 60, 60 to 90, and then more than 90. The most popular answer was 60 to 90, 45 to 60, or I should say 60 to 90 had 42% of the votes. Only 6% said less than 45% of the votes. And then 14 more than 90, and then everyone else between 45 and 60. Adam, did you go more than 90?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured you did.
Well, if I have the time, I'll work out for 3 hours, no problem. And it's not like I'm like super focused and like hitting like all this volume. It's the same workout that I could get in 60 to 90 minutes. I just choose to take my time and really enjoy it. So it's funny.
It's
like
your hobby.
Yeah, like when my wife's at work, she works nights, and I put the kids to sleep, I will legitimately stay up for 3 hours in the basement not get to bed till like 12:30, 1 o'clock, and have to wake up for work the next morning, just because I just love being down here and being in the space and working out. And it'll be like a 3-hour workout. And the end of it's definitely like opening up some beers from like, the gym beer fridge and doing some curls and just whatever. What about you, Jake?
I went with 60 to 90 minutes, but my weekend workouts sound more like what you just said.
Yeah.
Like I try and like do it at a time where I'm able to spend as much time as possible, maybe in the afternoons with like some beers at the end. So
yeah. Especially like if you have a TV in your space and like you're a sports person or you have a show or whatever, it's nice to put on a game and have it in the background and just be in your gym.
Absolutely. All right. Has your partner ever gotten upset with you about how much space your gym takes? Only 32% said yes.
Yay.
Yeah.
That
was a yes, for sure.
Mine's a no.
Especially these days. Yeah, I mean,
when I first started,
it was more like, growing it. I was like, what are you doing with this?
Well, I had to say, we have the unfinished basement when we moved, and so it was like wasted space. That wasn't wasted, but like it wasn't like a space we're actually using, and so it's like just mine to play with. And I could move stuff around, and even now I'm only using a third of it. But when I had a garage gym, like my first 2 garage gyms, there was always complaints about like us losing storage space and things like that, but not an issue anymore.
Yep.
I've been around for your wife talking to you about the space in the garage and if she's going to get to park in there in the winter and stuff.
Yep. All right. If moving, how much do you keep? We said across the country and then across the city. So if you're moving across the country, 57% said they were going to keep 100%. And then it went down a little bit for 75%, 50, and 25. And then across the city, about 89% say they are keeping 100%. So most people, if they're going to move based on this data, they're going to try and keep everything, which is, I think, a little crazy, considering I have moved with gym equipment. So what about you? What did you say for this?
I think I said 50%, and I have moved across the country and I kept 100% of my gym. But the reason was my gym was so small when I moved. I mean, it was a squat rack, a bench, a single bar, and bumper plates. That was it. That was my entire gym. And the squat rack was, I could pick it up with one hand. Like it was basically a squat stand. I answer this question looking at my gym now. And if I had to move across country with what I have now, I would keep like 50% of it. It'd be hard to take it all.
Yeah, I think I'd go about 50. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like thinking about your space and everything. Like what? Yeah. Don't move across country, Jake.
I might go like 75.
Yeah.
Just try and keep a couple of my favorite
So
bars.
expensive to get get rid of 75. I hear you.
Get rid of 75. Yeah. Like just get rid of the cardio, rebuy those. Because like, I'm also thinking about actually moving. The gym equipment, most of it you can't really like stack. Whereas like home stuff you can stack. A lot of that you would just need a ton of space.
Yeah.
All right. And then the last survey question, which hardware preference do you have? We're just looking at black zinc and bright zinc. So 59% say black zinc versus just 12% saying bright zinc. And then 30% not sure. But big win for black zinc here. Wish I had some black zinc. It does, for me, it looks better.
Just for aesthetics, right?
I think so, yeah.
The bright zinc's not rusting in the garages, is it?
No.
Yeah, okay. I mean, zinc shouldn't rust, right? It's coated. Okay.
I don't think so. People let us know if we're wrong, but I think it's primarily for aesthetics. I wish like Rep had black zinc.
I'm in the
All
not
right.
sure. I don't think hardware really, not really swayed by it.
I think mine would look better with black.
Well, let's
Like
discuss it.
imagine that with black.
Yeah, I mean, let's chat about it too. Yours, full price. I mean, that rack's 10 times what mine costs. Like I have,
Right.
I'm
Got it.
sitting in front of like, total like $600 with like all the attachments and everything. So hardware, I'm not really, too concerned about it, but
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. All right. Product idea.
ready.
Again, not like incredibly confident about this one, but I do think that the issue is something that has potential. So the issue for me, and this is for some people, they might be like, why is this an issue? It's not really an issue. It's more of just like an opportunity for someone, I should say. So the issue is the hardware takes up the precious rack space and it adds no value. So like, for example, if you're looking at the screen, you can just see that the bolts are there securing the rack. Great. Yes. But it means less possible room for attachments. I think there's been a lot of like complaints about how much space like safety spotter arms take up. If you're going to use those, they take up like 4 holes. Some companies have some where it takes up like 4 or 5 holes. Irwin Jacobs that you can kind of see in the picture, those take up quite a bit of space. So you can't really like do anything else around that, like within that. So basically, I think there just needs to be something that we can do to secure the racks that are more than just a bolt. So here's my example. So let's just say on the screen you can see the traditional hardware, doing its job securing the rack. But I feel like you could do something like add this eye bolt like into, actually, let me go grab it. So like you're looking at the screen, just like imagine this sticking out of the bolt out of the rack. So you can basically use it for like storing bands or jump rope, or use it for like crossover symmetry. There's got to be like some sort of potential for like a pulley system. I don't know, but I think like the big thing is there might be a way to make the hardware a little more versatile, especially considering a lot of these racks are like 1 inch. They're just massive. I think you can make something that is still really strong by adding it.
Is there no
All right.
1-inch bolts with an eye on it?
I don't think
exist?
so.
There's got to be. I mean, you got a bolt right there with an eye on it. It's just not 1 inch. Yeah, I mean, it seems like that should be something. Yeah, to clip something on, hang things off. Yeah, I don't know how many people would take advantage of it, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking something that would actually not just like you plug in to a random hole. You'd still like try and utilize the ones that are holding the rack together.
Yeah. No, it would be like a 1-inch bolt. It just have the eye on it, and it would just take the place of your other bolts. Yep.
Yeah. Can you think of anything else that you could do other than store stuff like bands?
Yeah,
or
like
like something else you could actually
like TRX, or like you said, crossover symmetry.
Right.
Things
TRX.
like yeah.
They'd still be strong enough, I think, if you.
100%. Yeah, it's on.
Yeah.
If it's attached to a bolt. Yeah.
Yeah, TRX was also in my head. Yeah. So that's my idea.
Yeah. I think it exists. Can't be certain because like 1-inch hardware is huge. So maybe not. But not sure a ton of people would want it like the eye sticking up there. Unless you had something like, I use crossover symmetry, and that'd be a good place just to snap them on. So 1 through 10.
Yeah.
I say 6. I give it a 6.
I'll take it.
All right. Well, before we wrap this one up, we want to remind you guys that HomeGymCon is happening. It's coming up in April, French Lick, Indiana. Get your tickets at the website, www.garagegymexperiment.com, or just follow us along on Instagram. We put plenty of links and vendors signing up and all that stuff on there. Jake, do you want to say anything about HomeGymCon real quick? Signing up, anything like that?
New Instagram page. We are just simply at HomeGymCon. You might want to follow that if you're interested in just seeing what we're adding to the schedule, and then also new vendors as they come along. We'll continue to really add just about everything that is added to that Instagram page, and use podcast for 10% off.
Awesome. 10% off. Use podcast. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Did you like tonight's episode? Well, then be sure to keep your eye out for new episode releases wherever you listen to podcasts. Stay involved on our social media sites by following Garage Gym Experiment and taking part in our Sunday surveys so that you too can be a part of these conversations. Like, follow, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and get involved on our website for all your home gym content needs. I already asked you, Jake, if you had anything, and you gave us something tonight, so I think that counts. But do you have anything else?
Yeah. Nothing else.
Okay. Well, we're going to count it. Jake gave us something tonight. Thanks, guys, for listening. We'll catch you next time. Bye.